Speech Pitch by Iska Sak.
Hello everyone, I'm Guan Yu, a PhD student based in Sheffield, a podcast volunteer at Iska Sak, and a member of the UK Speech 2023 local committee. Following the tradition, this year's UK Speech also invited some local businesses to the conference and share their work about speech technologies. How do companies apply their speech technologies in their businesses? What does speech research mean for them? How does business work with academics to develop speech technologies? Today, we have Anil and Finnian from Oxford Wave with me. Oxford Wave is a company focusing on applying speech technologies in forensic scenarios. Let's have a chat with Anil and Finnian and hear their stories about speech technologies. Hello, Dr. Neil Alexander, and hello, Dr. Finnian Kelly. Welcome to Sheffield. Is it your first time being in Sheffield?
It is, yeah. First time ever. Yeah, I like it so far.
So how's your experience of the conference so far?
Sheffield's been great. The conference also, oddly enough, our first UK speech attendance. I'm kind of regretting not having made it for the previous ones because it's been really, really good. Lots of talent in the UK and Ireland, and we're very excited to be here.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that you really enjoy it. So, would you like to introduce what Oxford Wave does to our audience in a few words?
Yeah, Oxford Wave Research is a speech and audio processing company fundamentally, but we're focused on forensic and law enforcement applications of these technologies. So we have a flagship forensic speaker recognition product that's used in many countries across the world, and we work in voice biometrics in general.
Lovely. So what do you see the potential in speech technology?
This is a big question, I think. So I think we're already seeing some potential being realized day to day in some applications in like communications and entertainment. And we've seen a lot of posters here at this event with speech synthesis and speaker recognition that are kind of built into those applications. A little bit more from our perspective, we're interested in applications that I suppose help people in different ways. So they could be medical applications, and there's a few papers here on kind of assessing, monitoring health conditions like Alzheimer's, dementia. Another exciting application we're interested in is restoring someone's voice if they have some traumatic event, some surgery to remove their larynx or something. So voice banking, and I think that's the possibilities of making that work now are becoming more real. So that's really exciting direction. And then really directly to what we do in the forensic and law enforcement space. I think there's huge potential to help people in terms of maybe protecting vulnerable witnesses, protecting their identity, and also help witnesses by speeding up investigations through speaker recognition tools as well. So we see lots of good applications to help people in speech technology, and that's what we're interested in.
Does that expand your interest outside forensic scenarios?
It does. I mean, I think we want to keep to the our core interests, because I think we focused our energies there, but we're always looking in and around that and seeing how we can work with things. Medical is an area that we've dabbled in before. We do again, and allied areas like voice banking and other things are of great interest to us. So it does, it has expanded our mind, but we're always sort of trying to see how can we bring the best of these worlds into our world.
Cool. Yeah. So nice to stay open and see possibilities outside the current focus.
Yeah, that's why it's great. It's great to come to conferences like this, where it's very broad. You see, you hear about lots of things from different perspectives.
Yes, exactly. So my next question, it is for people who may not doing speech technologies. So for ordinary people, when they use a speech-enabled product, is there anything that they need to be aware of?
I think that's a great question. And during my career, I'm trying to think from the beginning when in speech. You said you're working in speech, but it was basically speech dictation systems, and they were sort of you had to speak in a very constrained and very forceful way to get what you wanted. I was touched by yesterday's talk where the keynote speaker's 2-year-old daughter communicating with Alexa. My son, I've seen him sort of grow with these technologies. So I think what's a wonderful change, but also a bit scary, is that speech technologies have been embraced by normal people, by everyone, and I think that's a big change, and it's almost become an acceptable modality for people to use in addition to texting and using their voice. So very exciting to see that. But there's an interesting principle in forensic science. I believe it's from Locard, which says every contact leaves a trace. It's mostly in a sort of criminal sense, but most contacts leave a trace. But if you think about it, you are making a contact with a device, okay? And in some way, you have the content or the idea that you're transmitting, but you're also leaving a little bit of yourself in that contact. And it is about that, about what of our identity that we are leaving on these devices everywhere and across many, many devices. And because of the great scope that it provides, I don't think it should be stopped, but people should bear that in mind when they're using speech technologies, that this great improvement comes at this kind of a price that we just need to think about.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Let's talk something more about Oxford Wave. What does research mean for Oxford Wave?
So we're a very research-focused company. Mm-hmm. The clue's in the name. We have research in there. So it's really at the centre of what we do, of the products that we build, and we publish quite a bit as well. So the research is at the centre of what we do. What's might be a little bit different to how we approach research to how it's approached in the academic world is that our focus needs to be on research that leads to applications that help in the real world, that work in the real world, under the constraints. So some of the things that Anil talked about in his presentation, some of the challenging real world conditions and normal consumer hardware, and a user who's trained, but they may not be like a PhD audio expert, you know. So we have lots of constraints. So the research we do needs to find solutions to the challenging problems that end up, being usable in the real world. And sometimes that's a little bit different to academic research, where you can take time and explore a problem and formulate elegant solutions and ideas, but sometimes those things don't translate right into a working solution. So that research process is a little bit different to I think the academic research process.
Okay, so because of this kind of difference, how do you work with academics in the speech technology field?
We work quite closely, actually, and we both have an academic background ourselves, so we both have PhDs in the speaker recognition area. And so from that, we have many academic connections and colleagues who we keep in touch with. And as I mentioned, we publish quite a bit.
Yeah.
And then on an ongoing basis, we have collaborations with Cambridge University. So we're co-supervising 2 PhD students in Cambridge at the moment. We also have an ongoing project with York University as well on speaker recognition. So this is nice. I think this allows us to, benefit from connecting with people who have the freedom to do academic research, and they don't have to build a product at the end of it, but they can explore things and share their ideas with us. Yeah. And at the same time, we can give them problems that are important and relevant.
Okay.
Because we see our users are encounter the problems in real life, the forensic law enforcement problems. We hear directly what they need. And then so we think we can communicate those problems back to the academics who have the freedom and the time to explore lots of crazy ideas, and some of them work, and then we can kind of try and bring that back to what we do. So
okay. Yeah. Can I understand it so you have different teams in charge of different process? There is a team specialized in communicating with the client, and there is a team to translate the client's needs into academic research questions, and there is a team to translate academic findings into real applications.
in function, that is true. So, as I mentioned, there's, the sales folk who deal with it directly. There's R&D folk, and there's also sort of bread and butter people who maintain things and keep the experience going. But being a small company, a lot of people wear different hats. And the nice thing I like about being a smaller company is the fact that line that you're talking about between the developers or customer needs and R&D is a lot smaller, and the communication is more direct, which is nice. The cyclical nature of things works a lot better in smaller groups, and I'm a big believer in small groups. Sort of 7 to 10 people, you can achieve a lot, where sort of a hierarchical structure might not quite do that. So
yeah, so it's a compact yet very efficient.
Yes.
Nice. So my next question is about the future. How do you see Oxford Wave developing in the future?
Again, another good question. You made us think when you asked this. So we find that what we set out to do when we, if you will, start the company was actually to bring these technologies that actually can have direct impact and sort of big impact on people. We chose the area of forensics, and we're really pleased with the fact that it is impactful there. So our forensic product is used in many countries, many forensic labs across the world, and that's something that makes us really happy. Now, I think the real question in where do we go from here? One is, of course, building on that trust, building on those on the rigor of all the products that we have that are serving this really important function across the world. But I think there's a sort of second allied problem, which is in scaling this, okay? Being able to take these technologies, take these things that we've learned and scaling them, but not in the sort of commercial sense. So, for example, if you think about cases that have two voices, and you need to compare two voices. That's one problem. But maybe you're dealing with thousands of files and hundreds of voices, and you need to make matches, and you need to try to scale up this. But again, with the aim of, I know it sounds a bit cliche, but trying to do good and impactful work. Yeah. And I think that's where we want to go. We're good way down that road, but that's where I see Oxford Wave moving in the next few years.
So scale up to do more things good for the world.
Said it very well.
Okay. Are you looking for new graduates working for Oxford Wave?
Yes, as it happens, we are.
So, what do you think makes a good candidate?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, leading on from Anil's last kind of answer there, I think we want someone who also wants to do good. So there's all these exciting technologies that can do fantastic things. I think, but if you strip it back and say, okay, we can decide what we want to use them for. Do we want to use them to create some fantastic multimedia entertainment experience, or do we want to use it to help restore a voice to someone that's lost their voice? So these technologies enable us to do many things. So I think we're focused on trying to do good with these technologies. So someone who's got that sort of mentality, and someone who's curious as well and open-minded about new ideas and the kind of things that you'll encounter at a conference like this.
Yeah, if you can give a definition of good, what would that be?
That is a very difficult question, and that's why we use that term, good. I think it is impacting people's lives, and impacting people's lives in a positive way. Now, you could argue that playing a better video game impacts people's lives in a positive way, but we hear some of the work that not us, our customers do with their data, and if they're managing to give somebody some a little extra help in justice or sorting a case, I think that gives us a lot of satisfaction, and we feel in that sense we are doing good. So we want those graduates to be motivated by the outcomes. Okay, so whenever we have our company meetings, we say, remember that this problem is bigger than you, bigger than individual people. It's the people who this is going out to that we owe the explanation, it's for them that we should not have bugs. It's for them that this needs to make sense. So it's having that idea that it's for some bigger good that you're doing, and that's kind of what it is. It's not a definition, that was more like a paragraph, but there you go.
Thank you very much for giving us such a nice graph. And thank you for sparing your time taking the interview with us. Thank you, Anil, and thank you, Finnian. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you, and you really appreciate it as well. Thank you for inviting us, hosting us, and we're very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye now.
Bye.
Speech Pitch by Iska Sak.